So last time we left Dante and Virgil, they were right there in the seventh circle, weren't they?
They were. Dealing with the violent against nature, we saw those encounters with the Florentine souls.
Right, the respected figures. And then Virgil, he summoned Geryon at that big waterfall. Let's start there. His appearance is, well, it's something else.
It really is. Dante paints this picture. The face of a man looks honest, trustworthy even.
But then the body is this like multicolored serpent.
Yeah, serpentine. And then the finishing touch, a scorpion's tail, ready to strike.
Wow. Okay, so that contrast, honest face, dangerous body and tail, what's going on there?
Well, it's pure symbolism, isn't it? It's the very image of fraud. Deception, real fraud, it doesn't usually announce itself with flashing lights. It often looks, okay, it might even look attractive or trustworthy on the surface.
Okay. So the just man's face is the lure, the disguise.
Precisely. It masks the serpentine body, the hidden danger, the sting in the tail. Dante is nailing the insidious nature of deceit right there. It looks one way, but it is another.
That's quite chilling, actually. It makes you think, doesn't it? About times when maybe things weren't quite what they seemed initially.
Or people. It's a strong warning, really. Don't just trust the surface.
So that feels like our first big takeaway then. This idea that deception is often masked, it looks harmless, even appealing.
Yeah, that insidious quality. Geryon embodies it. It asks us to be more discerning, maybe? Look a bit deeper than that first impression.
Makes sense. Now, before they actually get on Geryon for the flight down,
Right, there's that quick detour.
Dante notices the usurers. They're still in the seventh circle, on that burning sand.
Yes. Punished alongside the others, violent against God's creation, in this case, through unnatural money lending.
And their specific punishment involves these pouches hanging around their necks.
Purses, yeah, and not just any purses. They have coats of arms on them, family emblems.
And Dante recognizes the family's Florentine Paduan nobles by these emblems, not by looking at the sinners' faces. What's the significance of that detail?
Oh, that's incredibly telling, I think. On one level, it's simple. Their earthly obsession, their money, represented by these symbols of family wealth and power, becomes their eternal identifier, their burden.
Okay, so the thing they valued most is now, like, weighing them down.
Exactly. But it goes deeper. By focusing on the emblems, not the faces, Dante suggests their greed, their focus on finance, has completely erased their individuality.
So they're no longer people, just symbols of their family's wealth or their own greed.
Kind of, yeah. Their humanity is lost, reduced to these heraldic symbols. They are their money, in a sense.
That's pretty bleak. It really makes you think about, well, the dehumanizing potential of just focusing purely on wealth.
It raises that question about balance, doesn't it? What defines us? Is it just our possessions, our status, or something more?
Yeah, that idea that focusing too much on material things can actually strip away who we are, maintain perspective.
It echoes themes we've seen before, like with the greedy and the wasteful earlier on, becoming almost featureless in their punishment. Too much focus on the material erodes the person.
Okay, so from the usurers to the flight itself, this is maybe the most dramatic part of the canto.
Oh, definitely. Dante and Virgil climb onto Geryon's back, this bizarre creature.
Part man, part snake, part scorpion.
Yeah, and it begins the spiraling descent into the darkness of the next circle. Dante is, understandably, terrified.
He makes it really clear, doesn't he? The sheer terror. He even compares himself to Phaethon and Icarus.
Right, those classic myths of falling from the sky, Phaethon losing control of the sun chariot, Icarus flying too close to the sun.
Why those two specifically? What's the connection he's making?
Well, it's interesting because both Phaethon and Icarus fell because of their own hubris, their recklessness. They reached too high, went beyond their limits.
Okay. But Dante's situation is different.
It is. While he's just as scared, maybe more so, he's not there because of his own ambition. He's following Virgil, who represents reason, guidance.
And it's part of this larger, divinely permitted journey.
Exactly. So the terror is real, but the flight, this terrifying experience, it's necessary for his growth, for moving forward.
So that brings us to another lesson, maybe. That facing our fears, even the really scary stuff, is sometimes essential for personal growth.
I think so. Dante doesn't back away. He goes through it, guided by Virgil. It suggests that sometimes the biggest steps forward require confronting things that feel overwhelming.
It really resonates. We all have those moments as Geryon flights in life, don't we? Challenges that seem terrifying.
And maybe the key, like for Dante, is having that guidance, that trust in something reason, wisdom, a mentor, faith to help us through it.
And the Icarus-Phaethon thing also highlights, maybe, the need for humility. They fell because they didn't respect limits or guidance.
Precisely. Dante, despite his fear, trusts Virgil. That's a crucial difference.
Which loops back kind of nicely to that theme running through the whole canto, appearance versus reality.
Yeah, it's everywhere, isn't it? Geryon is the obvious symbol. Looks okay is deadly. But even the usurers, reduced to emblems, it's about the surface hiding a deeper, diminished reality.
So the whole canto is sort of a warning.
Yeah.
Look deeper. Don't just take things at face value.
Cultivate discernment, perhaps. Be willing to question that initial presentation, whether it's a situation, a person, or even an appealing idea.
And one last point seems crucial here.
Yeah.
As Dante is, clinging on for dear life.
Terrified.
Utterly terrified, yeah.
Right.
But he's still trusting Virgil. That seems like a lesson in itself. The importance of trust, especially when things feel chaotic or scary.
Absolutely. His fear is real, but it doesn't break his trust in his guide. That's powerful. It speaks volumes about navigating difficulty.
We don't always know the way. Things can feel overwhelming. But trusting in knowledgeable guidance, whatever form that takes for us,
can be the thing that gets us through. It's about having faith in the process, even when the immediate experience is frightening.
So with that trust, they make it down. Geryon sets them gently, surprisingly gently perhaps, at the edge of Malebolge.
The eighth circle. The place of evil pouches, dedicated to the different types of fraud. A whole new level of sin.
And then Geryon just vanishes.
Yeah.
As strangely as he appeared.
Yep, his job is done. He's delivered them to the realm of fraud.
Okay, so let's try and pull these threads together. What are the main things we can take away for our own lives?
Well, we've definitely hit on a few key things. First, Geryon himself. That warning about deception, how it often hides behind a pleasing mask. Need for discernment.
Right. Then the usurers, showing how an obsession with wealth, with the material, can kind of hollow out our identity, the need for balance.
Then the flight, the big one, facing necessary fears for growth, and the absolute importance of guidance, of reason in doing that.
And that ties into looking beyond the surface again, the whole appearance versus reality thing.
And finally, underpinning that flight especially is trust. Trusting in guidance, trusting the process, even when it's terrifying or confusing.
Those feel like really solid practical insights from just one canto.
Dante packs a lot in.
He really does. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to kind of chew on.
Go for it.
Consider the Geryons in your own life. What situations, maybe even people, present that kind of reassuring face, but might conceal something more complex, maybe even harmful underneath?
That's a good one. How do you spot them?
Yeah, how can you cultivate that discernment to see past the facade? And just as importantly, where do you need to place your trust to fall? Find your own Virgil to navigate the scary flights that those situations might demand.
A lot to think about there. It really brings the canto home.